and we go below it for a long time. And historically, if you look at the previous bear market, we were below that for a long time. And I'm just watching the chart and we're at 7k right now. Wow, that's amazing. 7k Bitcoin, woohoo! Caught on a YouTube video. Anyways, so with that, historically, it was 15 months on the last bear market. So from a certain period in 2018, it took 15 months to get above that. Hey, welcome to today's video. Hope you're good. If you are new to the channel and you'd like to learn more, hit that subscribe button and press that bell button. 84% of you guys do jump in, don't subscribe, so make sure you definitely subscribe this time. So, market sentiment. Why does it matter? I've got Crypto Panic up here. Ta-da, boom. I want to talk about this because not everyone gets it. News, rumours, sentiment. Why are we bearish? Why are we bullish? And why the news matters and why this halving malarkey in April, May next year is going to matter next year. Okay, the following year. And you got to put yourself in the mindset of a big investor. What would they want more than anything? Probably cheap Bitcoin, let's be honest. So, let's talk about a few things now. Crypto Panic is a great little place that will bamboozle you if you're new to the space. Bulls always get slaughtered, I always find. They always do, because they're very much channeled in certain accounts and certain YouTubers, and they're like, oh, 100% bullish. Fuck off. No one cares. Let's be honest. You've got to look at each passage of play to make money. Simple as that. We're all here to make money. As a trader, as an investor, you don't just buy at 13k because it's going up. No, you wait until it comes down to these regions like 7.4. Yay. So, Crypto Panic's really, really good, educational wise, to understand the market very, very quickly. It's a bit confusing because it gives you the trending news, which is normally bullish, but the best thing to do is go to the bullish news here. Top news bullish, tells you, cool, woohoo! Most of it you can see is always on here because everyone likes bullish news, would you believe? Funny. So you got to look at what's happening this week. Well, it's been quite bearish throughout this week, okay? What has happened? Well, Fidelity have just came out with their digital services. Woohoo! You've also got Yahoo Finance that adds to CoinMarketCap to its prices. Cool. The PayPal CEO has just said he bought Bitcoin. Whoa. You know, all this is news that is circulating because Bitcoin is bearish. When Bitcoin's bullish, though, it's usually the bearish news. It's always, oh God, it's crazy. So take news with a massive pinch of salt, but also look at the sentiment. I'm going to look at the chart in a bit, so make sure you stick around because I'm going to show you a very, very, very simple method of directional travel. You need to know it as an investor. You need to know it as a trader, because if you go against it, you're going to lose. Simple as that. And you've got to have that degree of patience to kind of wait for it to happen. And more often than not, if something's coming down, that market will retrace that amount of percentages back. It will eat it back and it will grab you. Simple as that. So, again, let's look at bearish news. Not as much bearish news at the minute. I wonder why. It's strange, isn't it? So you got to look at that. And I mean, bearish news is pretty non-existent. It's pretty shit. Let's be honest. But is it because we've been bearish for a while? But if you look a bit later on, a couple of months ago when everything was bullish, everything was like, oh my God, it's amplified. So that is one key thing. But let's look at Bitcoin, okay? The Bitcoin chart. Let's have a look. Now, this is the Fibonacci on the chart. This is on the base of the weekly, okay? Bear with me. Dog fluff in my mouth again. Annoying. So this is base of the weekly. Essentially, if you look at that, we're essentially here, okay? Limited data, I know it's a Bybit chart, but bounce, bouncy. We could bounce here. Could. Everyone loves a YouTuber saying that. But it's a possibility. We've had reactions here before. Boom. Boom. You know, we just don't know. Well, here even, not so much there, but here. You know, that area is absolutely fundamentally key. So, top tip. If you are short on the corn right now, I'd advise you to wait. Fuck me, you are risky if you are going to short from here. Because this 618, the golden ratio, is very, very reactive to Bitcoin. So, again, go to the daily chart. This is an overall move, just literally retracing 60-odd% again. We popped back up. Oh, hello. We're back down again, okay? So we retrace that whole China pump. So, market sentiment, how do you discover it? Well, you got to look at the chart. I know it sounds really, really bleak and boring, but a moving average is key. I use the EMA 34 and the EMA 21, essentially. That's all I use, okay? Nice and neat, tidy. There's other ones to use, and I'm going to give you that in a second as a little tip. But as a trader, that's what I use. And what I see here is on the daily, well, below it, it's quite bearish. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out when you're below it, it's bearish. When you're above it, it's bullish. You know, that's kind of how my trend analysis works. It's simple. I would only look for longs in these regions to get the longs, and I would only look for shorts in these regions to get the shorts. And I'll be in and out, in and out, in and out throughout that trend. I will never go against it. I'm not a scalper in Bitcoin. I do scalp in other assets because it's different. But Bitcoin, I never go against the trend because I think it's fundamentally flawed, and you get wigged out every time. Unless you're on the 1 minute time frame, that's different. But I see a lot of people go on the 1 minute time frame, win. I see a lot of people go on the 1 hour time frame and lose massively because they don't quite understand the longer term effects of a trend. Anyways, 6 hour time frame is also really, really good for trend analysis, and I like using the 6 hour time frame. It gives you a very, very steep element of control. I think every 6 hours it's a candle. It's pretty cool, and this has been riding this trend lovely all the way down, and even on the way up that was really, really hard to call, but you could kind of get where we were going right here until it retraced. But fundamentals though are key. You need to understand what the hype of the market is. We pumped, hype dies down, search engines disappear, YouTube videos disappear, no one's excited anymore, people are getting wrecked, people are getting bearish, people are selling, price falls. It's not hard, it's not rocket science. That's kind of how markets work, guys. So obviously we pumped up to 10k recently throughout the course of this year. Momentum trickling down, we bounced, trickling down again. So we're in that period where we're trickling down. So another moving average I want to give you. Now this is more for the novices. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, say hello, and I will love you forever. But one of the main elements that people forget about is a moving average. Now I use EMAs for trading, but if you put an EMA on, you can use an EMA or a moving average. So I want to give you a difference of both. One is simple, okay? Simple moving average, 200, okay? You put it on your chart, off you go, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, that would give you a solid basis of a sell order. Now, you can use whatever time frame on this. Ideally, you want to go longer if you can, because it's more valid. I want to change this. I'll change it to a pinky kind of colour. Cool, happy days. I'll make it a bit thicker too. So, that's the moving average, 200. I'm going to change to this one as well, because this is a bit different. So, you can use either or. A little bit different on both, okay? One lags a little less than the other, not as much though. So let me just change this again. Turquoise, yes, mate. Off we go. So just to give you an insight, okay, these are really good trend analysis kind of elements. Okay, if you are a slow trader using the 6 hour time frame, you can kind of gather what's happening with the overall trend. We're going up. Okay, then moving averages as mathematical data is going up. When you go below it though, and you below it for a substantial amount of time, it's a good time to kind of get out and kind of see what happens next. That's kind of the key area that I want to get at. But personally, I prefer moving average 200. And if you look at the daily time frame, for example, it's obviously, you know, it starts from on here on bit by bit. We're a trend. When we go below it, it tends to get pretty bearish, and we go below it for a long time. And historically, if you look at the previous bear market, we were below that for a long, long time. And I'm just watching the chart and we're at 7k right now. Wow, that's amazing. 7k Bitcoin, woohoo! Caught on a YouTube video. Anyways, so with that, historically, it was 15 months on the last bear market. So from a certain period in 2018, it took 15 months to get above that. When we were above it, and it was literally from roughly this point, I think it was 4,300 roughly, give or take. And when you look at the data, and I'm pretty sure it was about this region, we were actually below it. And when you look at where we actually got below it again, it was 175 days. So historically, when you are above or below it, it matters on a longer term time frame. So if you're looking as an investor and you're looking to buy, you buy when it goes above it, and you start gradually increasing your position as it gets stronger in strength. Just to kind of show you what I mean, if I zoom out a bit, you just go in and you gradually increase it as the trend gets stronger. When it gets weaker, you start removing it, essentially. So when you start getting testing it and you think, oh my God, you know, we're getting below it, you know, happy days. Each time frame is different, but you want to look at certain things and certain parameters of a trend. You don't want to be buying Bitcoin or buying altcoins when you're in a bearish trend. You want to catch it when it's starting to show a turn. These examples here, support for a long period of time and turning the curve a little bit. It's starting to show reversal signs of bullish tendencies, and it is looking to retest and go over the moving averages on those longer time data. But it's mathematical formula data essentially, so it gets a degree of science with it, weirdly. But when you're looking at getting out of it, you got to look at these positions here and you think to yourself, well, obviously you've got to have a degree of patience. You've got to look to yourself, well, if I've been riding it from the bottom, down at 4K for example, and you've been up here, and you're looking and thinking, well, you know something, it's starting to test it now, I'm going to get out. It's not a bad... taking profits is not a bad idea. It isn't. Market sentiment is key. If things start coming down, it's for a reason. Hype died down. Nothing just goes straight up to the moon. Everything retraces, and all these little pullbacks as the market taking things back. But longer term, if you look at the daily as an example, you got to look at the moving average, and when it starts getting towards this region, you think to yourself, well, if I've been riding this from 4,000, I'm looking at getting out about 8K. You've won. You've won a great amount, and then obviously you just sell and you just wait to see what happens. And obviously we all rejected here. It just went, but we're back down. We're below it again. We're freaking really low now. So you got to look at that and you think to say, well, how long will we be below this? So if you're looking at buying Bitcoin, I wouldn't buy yet. Don't buy. Just wait and see what happens. Wait and see how far this curves. And what will happen is over time, this will curve. And it will just do this. Over time, it will just gradually come down and down and down. And then it'll be like, not so much that aggressively, but it will just gradually just arc over. And it will bring the price down. And then that will form resistance. And then from there on, we'll see what happens. We basically see what happens. But right now, Bitcoin is reacting massively to whatever's happening in the market. We just dumped massively there. That's a 1 minute time frame. Drop. Wow. So, there you go. Have a good weekend. Learn the basics. Trend analysis, market sentiment, and what's happening in the news is absolutely massively important. Don't be buying Bitcoin if it's below certain moving averages on a daily time frame, because chances are it's bearish. It's going to carry on being bearish until it gets bullish, obviously, but just be mindful of that.